I hate the patriarchy. There's a lot of really good men.
Judd?
Answer the question.
Do I hate men? No.
That's a lie.
Welcome to The Wall. Today we're going to look at how the modern feminist woman plays the victim. She blames men for everything, claims that marriage only benefits us, that the patriarchy oppresses them, and that they also carry a so-called mental load. The same old narrative. They're the victims, we're the ones to blame. We want you to smash that like button and help us reach our goal of 1,000 likes on this video. Drop your comment with your experience and wisdom. We always pin the best comment for the community. Subscribe, and let's get started.
This is probably a hot take, but I don't really care. So I think marriage is no longer going to be a thing 10, 20 years down the road. Marriage specifically only benefits men and the patriarchy. I mean, I've seen it, I've witnessed it, I've observed it from friends, family, strangers, the internet. 9 times out of 10, the man is the one who benefits from being married. 9 times out of 10. I mean, women already aren't wanting to get married anymore. I know, I don't. So, yeah, I think it's only a matter of time before it's no longer mainstream. And if you're a man cheating on your wife right now, get your shit together. I literally witnessed this last night. This guy came up to me. He goes, "Look at that guy over there. He's married." He had his ring on too. Most of them don't even do that. He had his arm around this girl and he goes, "That's not his wife." And I was like, "That's not good." And he goes, "What should I do?" I go, "Tell his wife. Tell his wife. Who gives a shit? She should know." So yeah, this is not the first time that I've seen a married man cheating on his wife in public. This also happened earlier in the year. We were out at a bar for St. Patty's Day. A girl came up to us that was out with her guy friends, both married, both chatting it up with every single girl in the bar. So like, men, get your fucking shit together. It's embarrassing. And for anyone who might be rolling their eyes right now, your top 5 friends are a reflection of you. So if your friends lack integrity and are cheating on their wives, and you're not holding them accountable, that tells me everything I need to know about you as a person. So, why would you even want to be friends with someone who lacks integrity?
The double standard is massive. So, why would a married woman want to be friends with a woman who hates men and marriage? She accuses the guy of cheating on his wife, but conveniently forgets there was also a woman involved. On top of that, the whole "if someone did it, it'll happen to me" mindset is exactly what paralyzes people. This woman based everything she said on someone else's experience. She didn't even know the dynamics of that relationship. She just assumed the man was the bad guy. But when a woman cheats, betrays, or files for divorce out of boredom or because her husband gets sick, what do they say to her? That her husband was the one benefiting? Give me a break.
Whenever women talk about patriarchy and gender-based violence, a lot of men will flock to the comments and say, actually, women treat men worse than men treat women, or actually, the problem is women are too mean to men, you're not nice enough to them, and that if women weren't so mean, men would start to care and they would actually listen to us. So therefore, all the oppression and violence that women face is actually their own fault. And often they say this purely because it's women talking about men's behaviour. And it's not even being nasty. We're just making observations that we often back up with data and actual research that they don't like. And it really reminds me of this post. Sometimes people use respect to mean treating someone like a person. And sometimes they use respect to mean treating someone like an authority. And sometimes people who are used to being treated as an authority say, if you won't respect me, I won't respect you. And they mean, if you won't treat me like an authority, I won't treat you like a person. And they think they're being fair, but they aren't. When women talk about men's behaviour in a way that men don't like, i.e. it threatens their ego or their self-image, they view it as a challenge to their authority. And because they view women as an accessory to making men look good, For example, trophy wives or men who surround themselves with models to elevate their social status. Anything that does not pursue that aim needs to be shut down immediately. Why? Because it threatens the status quo and their power within it.
Respect isn't imposed, it's earned. Men don't care if you reject them or leave them. What they don't like is when you try to humiliate them. A polite response doesn't cause problems. What's irritating is getting insulted just for being a man. Or the typical feminist narrative that the white patriarchal man is the one oppressing them, like he's the root of all evil. And then you've got trophy women. They're not looking for a man with money because they want to work hard or build a life together. They're looking to be exactly that, a trophy. They get everything handed to them and only have to provide children. They forget that it's women who choose the man they want to be with. But that choice comes with responsibility. And responsibility is kryptonite for women.
For most women, there is no benefit to marriage, okay? Even statistics show this. Married women die sooner. They have more health issues. For most women, it's going to be a lose-lose situation when you decide that you are going to get married. If you are trying to get married, the only way marriage makes sense is if you are logistical. Most women are not logistical. Most women just want love. That's all they care about. You must be logistical if you're going to get married. You need to write up a prenup. I cannot believe that there are women that get upset about a man asking them for a prenup when you also can write up a prenup. Put a cheating clause in there. Men are guaranteed to cheat. You might as well have some monetary reimbursement for them cheating. So put a cheating clause in there. And as long as you have proof of him cheating, you are granted X amount of money in the prenuptial agreement. He needs to be a man that actually has something, right? He can give you land, a rental property, a home, something monetary so that dealing with him makes sense to you. But marriage for love should never be on the table. It should never be a reason why you would ever want to get married, because that's not real. So yeah, marry rich, protect yourself, and get some form of reimbursement for a man being a man.
I'll give her credit when it comes to the prenup, but even if you explain all the advantages to a woman, she still doesn't want to get married. And here's an interesting fact. 50% of marriages end in divorce, and 80% of those divorces are filed by women. You know what the statistic is when there's a prenup involved? 15%. What does that tell you? That a woman is less eager to get divorced when she knows she can't walk away with the bag. She fights harder for her marriage when money is off the table. But of course, they don't like prenups because they scream for equality until you give them real equality with separate assets. They hate going 50-50 on dates and expenses, but when it comes to divorce, they love it.
Women.
I mean, y'all, they literally had us out here waxing, shaving, tanning, dieting, exercising, smiling, just so we would attract a man, so we could keep men in power on the backs of the lifelong emotional, mental, and physical labor of women. They literally had us out here believing there was no other fulfilling life than to get married to a man and have children, that there was no other way to have worth or experience a fulfilling life besides shackling yourself as a slave to a man. They really had us convinced. And look at all the industries that capitalize off of that. Makeups, cosmetics, fitness. The list goes on. This might be the biggest scam of all.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Interesting. Now look into consumer habits, and you'll see that single women are the biggest consumers of everything. They carry the most credit card debt, student loans, and mortgages. Check the stats. Even women with high salaries are still living below the poverty line. But of course, the single woman is the happiest person in the world. Meanwhile, a woman living in a home with a man has someone who handles the finances, helps maintain the household, allows her to be a mother, takes care of her when she's sick, or supports her if she loses her job. And somehow, according to them, that's the greatest oppression in the world. Misery loves company. It's a hard truth when no one's ever truly loved you.
I want to talk about this comment right here because I get this comment all the time on my videos. I see it all the time in other women's videos, especially when they're talking about things that their partners do or that they hope that they change. And for me in particular, it's typically around the mental load and navigating a home together. And I share little stories about how we have shifted the dynamics in our relationships to be more equitable and fair. And I always find this comment so funny because I said that my husband used to use me like a personal reminders list. Like he would ask me to remind him of things all the time. And this person's like, why did you even marry him? Well, the obvious answer to why I married him was because he was a kind, thoughtful person who I loved spending time with and still do, right? That's why I married him. And maybe I should have had a conversation with him in our 20s about not using me like a personal reminders app. But here's the thing. We all come to relationships and marriage with different upbringings and understandings of what it looks like to be a person and a parent and a partner. And we have all had different things modeled for us along the way. And unfortunately, especially here in the US, but in many different places, men were not raised to carry the mental load or to show up in relationships in the same way that women were. They just simply were not. And I have a partner who is able and willing to adjust and change. When I come to him and say, hey, this is frustrating, he changes. And that's why I married him. I married him because he's a kind, thoughtful person who wants to have a relationship that is thriving. He doesn't come to me and say, absolutely not, I'll never do that, never, no way. He says, oh, sorry, I didn't realize I was adding to your mental load by asking you to remind me. I will just use the reminders app going forward. Look at that. That's why I married him, because he's a kind, thoughtful person, and it's not that hard to have these conversations. And in so many different relationships, I have found myself throughout my life in friendships and with my own family saying, hey, can we adjust the way we're doing this? Like, it's not working for me, and I don't think it's working for you either. Can we adjust it? And guess what? We do. I think that's the part about being a person that people don't get. Like, you can evolve, you can change, you can be better. And if you just write people off constantly, like, we get nowhere, right? Like, we're screaming from the rooftops about a male loneliness epidemic and how boys are struggling and men are struggling. And then people will be like, well, just leave him behind. Just leave him behind. And like, I get the urge. Believe me, I get the urge to just leave them behind. But I'm raising a son, and I hope that one day if somebody's dating him and he's doing something they don't love, that they can come to him and he's going to listen to them and absorb that and take that in and maybe adapt and maybe change and maybe show up differently next time. I hope for all of us that we can look at each other as people and not just a checklist. Because unfortunately, no matter what in a relationship, even if you think on paper you have the best person in the whole world as your partner, I guarantee you along the way you're going to say, hey, I don't love the way you're doing this, or I don't love how we communicated that. Like, can we change? And I wish for all of us that we can have the capacity for that, to have these conversations, to have compassion for one another, and to grow together.
Here she comes with the male loneliness epidemic, the biggest nonsense ever invented. Mathematically, it makes no sense. In a country where there are nearly 7 million more women than men, it's only logical that if there are lots of single men, like she claims, there should be 3 times as many single women. That's just basic math, my math. Another thing, the so-called mental load is nothing more than doing things for her husband. I guarantee you, if that woman leaves that man, he'll bounce back quickly. Beyond what she does for the kids, everything she did as a wife will lose its meaning fast. Because truthfully, that man never got any real help from her. His life would be the same with or without her. And the worst part? I've seen other videos where she doesn't even make dinner or do his laundry. That tells you everything. He won't be hurt by losing her because she's not essential in any way. And the most ironic part is, he's the one supporting her completely because they live in his house.
Women.
We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. What's your opinion on the mental load? What do you think about the fact that only 15% of marriages end in divorce when there's a prenup? What do you believe is the reason behind that? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Your support means the world to us and motivates us to create more content. Stay tuned for the next exciting video from the wall.